a double parsha. Thank you. We have a double parsha, Nitzavim Vayelech, followed by Shabbat Shuvah Ha'azinu, and then we arrive at Vezot HaBracha. So in Nitzavim Vayelech, we are in the last third of the Torah that we started in Kitabot, and they are divrei brit. We are words of covenant. Now there is something specific about the covenant this week, which I think I'll speak about more on Thursday. But nonetheless, I want you to have a look at this, have a look at the Bible. There are incredible stuff, really incredible stuff. I like calculator. It's the time. אתם ניצבים היום. You are standing here today. כולכם, all of you are standing here today. לפני השם אלוקיכם, before the Lord your God. ראשיכם, the heads of your people. שבטיכם, the heads of your tribes. זקניכם, your elders. שוטריכם, your policemen. כל איש ישראל, every Jew. טפכם, your kids. נשיכם, your wives. בגרך אשר בקרב מחניך, and the converts who are part of your camp. Mechotev eitzecha ad shoev meimecha, from the woodcutter to the water drawer. Everyone is here. Wakey, wakey! Tahara! We are Tahara. We are pure and awake. I know, getting up at 4 is tiring at this time of the day. I know what you mean. What does the Abarbanel say? What does the Abarbanel say? אתם ניצבים היום כולכם, רוצה לומר, אחר שתיכנסו לארץ, once you enter the land, ותכבשוה, and you conquer the land, ותחלקוה, and you apportion the land, between you, לא תוכלו להיכבס במקום אחד. You will not be able to gather again together. Different reality. אנשים ונשים וטף, כי זה יהיה בחלקו וזה בחלקו. Each person is going to be in his own tribe land. The reality of Am Yisrael once we enter the land of Israel is going to be tribal and not national. וגם הראובני והגדי וחצי שבט המנשי היו מניחים נשותיהם וצפם בריהם מעבר הירדן. Reuben, Gad, and Chatzi Menashe, they're going to go over to the other side, they're going to fight, and then they're going to come back. But today, אתם ניצבים כולכם לפני השם. You stand together before God. כלומר, סביב הארץ מקובצים יחד. You are gathered together. ולכן כאן יהיה אשר תיכנסו בברית ולא אחריכם. So this is the time to make a final covenant with you, and not afterwards. Afterwards it's going to be hard to get you all together. וזאת אומר, ראשיכם, שבטיכם, זקניכם ושוטריכם, עשרנו הראשים העם, the leaders and the people, וביאה עוד שלא היו מעורבים ולא היו מבולבלים זה בזה. אבל היו ראשונים הזקנים, they stood according to their level. So they stood according to a hierarchy of the elders, and then the police, and then the women, and then the gerim, and then the other people. Just a basic opening comment by the Abarbanel of what Atem Nitzavim Hayom is. We're standing together, we're all together. Okay, look at this Rashi, ladies. The reason we do the shiur in this room is because you have these armrests so that when you are blown away by a perush, you don't fall over and break an arm. You can listen to it in comfort and joy. Emma, comfort and joy! Comfort and joy! Oh my God, he's going to call everyone out today. Everyone, watch out. I'm looking. Look at Rashi, ladies. Look at this Rashi. What a Rashi. What a Rashi. What a Rashi. What a Rashi. I know some first names, some second names. I know some first and second names, but that's kind of unique. And then I have some nicknames, and then I forget your names altogether. Look at Rashi. Umidrash Haggadah lama nismacha parshat atem nitzavim. Listen to this Rashi. Listen to the Rashi. Why is the parsha of Atem Nitzavim next to the curses? Why is it next to the curses? Lefi sheshamu Yisrael 100 klalot chaser shtayim. Last week we had 98 curses. He calls them 100 less 2. 98 curses. Chutz minen tet shebetorah kohanim. That's besides the 49 that we heard in Vayikra in Parashat Bechukotai. Horiku peneihem. They went pale. And what kind of brid are we entering when we don't do things? These terrible things are going to happen to us. Maybe we shouldn't get involved. Is it worth it? They mamash went pale, like they were going to collapse. So many curses, so many terrible things. So Moshe said, are you not here? Are you not here today? So many terrible things. You know, there was a Rebbe, the Rebbe Misans. The Kloisenberger Rebbe. You ever heard of the Kloisenberger Rebbe? The Kloisenberger Rebbe went to Auschwitz with 11 children and a wife. He left Auschwitz alone. And he made a neder when he was in the camps that if he was to survive, he would build a hospital in Israel. That is, the Laniado Hospital in Netanya was built by the Kloisenberger Rebbe. And if you ever go there to visit, please go there and live. You'll see a lot of Hasidim running the hospital. Right next to where my father lives in Netanya. Mamash, he built a hospital. The first summer after the war, they were reading the curses in Shul. And the minhag, as you would have noticed last week, is to read them quickly and quietly. A minhag the Prophet Chaim didn't like at all. So they start reading the curses very quickly and quietly. And the Kloisenberger Rebbe thumps his hand on the table and he says, louder, read the curses louder, because everything has already happened. All those curses have already happened. And then Rashi says, Aval, Atem Nitzavim Hayom, but you are still here. One of the most unique and fantastic things about our people is Atem Nitzavim Hayom, is that we are still here. And the curses come and the curses go, and we are still here. And I thought of doing this, but in the end I thought it was too shticky. At the beginning of our Seder night, I have about 7 flags. 7 flags that I asked my kids to identify. I have a Russian flag, I have an Egyptian flag, I have a Babylonian flag, which is Iraq, I have a Persian flag, an Iranian flag, I have an American flag. And I asked my kids, I show them, tell me the Galut. Which Galut? I have a Greek flag as well. Show me the Galut. Which Galut am I talking about? Because on Pesach we're celebrating freedom. And we go through each Galut. And it's unbelievable how many exiles our people have been through. Aval, Atem Nitzavim Hayom. But we are still here. Not only are we still here, ladies, I don't think anyone can match some of the things coming out of this country. The CIA is probably the greatest intelligence movement in the world. I don't think they've ever got close to what we did last week. Deepers and walkie-talkies, they haven't even got close to that. They haven't even made a film or something at that level. Mamash, Atem Nitzavim Hayom, these are psukim in Torah. You are still here today as a people. So let's follow that theme a bit. Have a look at the Shem Yishmuel. Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem Lifnei Hashem Elokechem. The Shem Yishmuel is a Sogich of the Rebbe. It's a Chatan of the Kopska Rebbe. So follow inside. Over Rashi B'Shem Midrash Haggadah Lama Nismacha Parshat Atem Nitzavim LeKlalot. Why is the parsha together next to the Klalot, לפי ששמעו ישראל 100 כללות חסר 2 חוץ ממ"ט שבתור הכהנים, and we heard all of the curses besides, above and beyond the curses in Vayikra, הוריקו פניהם, they almost fainted. ואמרו מי יוכל לעמוד באלה? Who can possibly survive this? This is what's going to happen to our people. התחיל משה לפרסם, אתם ניצבים היום, but you're still here. No, you're still here. You can't possibly understand this if you don't look inside. We have angered God a lot. We have not kept what we're meant to have kept. But He's kept you. He's kept His brick with you. But the Kliyaka asks a question on this Rashi. What's the question of the Kliyaka? Why is that a proof that God will be with us forever? Maybe we just haven't done enough bad things. But when we do bad things, it will be over. So why is this a reassurance? Why is Rashi able to reassure us, you're still here today? Maybe we just haven't done enough bad things to warrant us being destroyed. But if you say we sinned so much that we should have been destroyed, God still hasn't destroyed us. Then what's the point of the punishment anyway if you're not going to be punished? So either way, either we haven't done enough bad things to be worthy of the punishment, so then why is this appeasing? And if we have, and we've still not been punished, so what's the point? So see what he says in the next paragraph. And in the Pasha above, listen carefully, it's so that you read Torah and you watch the news and it's just always just the same. In Pasha Vayelech, we talk about things that are going to happen. Va'amar v'yom hahu. And the people will conclude, why did these things happen? Ki ein Elokai b'kirbi. Because I don't have God within me. We don't believe in God, and God has left us. That's what the Christian says, right? New Testament, that God has left us. Mesa'oni hara'ot ha'eleh. If we say that and we've admitted to God that we understand this God's not with us because we have sinned, we should be forgiven. ופירש הרב הקדוש הרבי, רב בוני מפשיסחה, פשיסחה רבי, רב שמחה בוני, רב שמחה בוני לבתיה, שמאמרם כי אין אלוקי כי זה עצמו מוחלט. He said, you understand that in Parshat Vayelech, when bad things happen and people say it's God has left me, that is a sin in its own right. The Jew would ever even think. I'll tell you what, the deal will be that when you start talking, I will stop talking, and then I'll go as long as I want. It's very hard for me to talk when people in front of me are just, it's just an ego thing, I think. The Sovicheva says that the sin will be if you are punished and then you say, God has left me, that itself is a sin. Bad things happen to the Jewish people and then they think we have been abandoned by God. This creates despair, complacency. But that's not true. God has never left the Jewish people. Never left the Jewish people. Even if we sin, God is with us. Even if we are impure, God is with the Jewish people. But He is with us in a different way. If we ignore God, so God appears to the Jewish people, but in a hidden way. Afilu b'hastara. Meaning, read the Pesukim, something bad happens, we say, Ein Elokim b'kirbi, God is not within me, and then God reacts to that, then I will hide myself. Because to even suggest that God is not with us, that God has abandoned us, and God has not abandoned us, we are close to a year of this war, and now we're fighting in the north, and it will escalate further. Because we will defend ourselves. Something has changed. I want you to know, ladies, that 10 months ago, I went with a group of girls from this school and we were in Poland, and this was a very different trip to Poland. A trip that we've never had before, because the normal conclusion when you get to Poland is that it's finished. We're back in Israel, and that's not going to happen again. And then it happened again. You understand the shock? Then it happened again. We said it was never going to happen again because now we have a state. And then it happened again. And what they did on the 7th of October, I don't know how much you know, but it was equal to any pogrom they did in Poland in 1941 or in Russia. What they did with babies, what they did with women. I don't know how much they reported, but we know what they did. We haven't seen atrocities like that since 1941, 1942, while they were laughing. They put babies in ovens and cooked them in front of their parents, live babies. They raped women in front of their husbands. And then they dumped bodies in the middle of the street. It took weeks to identify the people. Weeks. So when you go back to Poland, what is the difference? What is the difference between then and now? If you find yourself just going back into another 1648, another Kishinev pogrom, another Holocaust, again and again and again. So what's the difference? The difference, whether you appreciate it or not, is that we don't lay down and die anymore. We fight back. Nitzavim, we fight back. And we have God inside of us. And what we were able to do last week is unbelievable. And we will emerge victorious. We will keep fighting. We've never ever, I hope you can appreciate this in the history of the Jewish people, we've never ever fought back. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was an attempt to show pride in ourselves. There was never any victory on the cards. No one thought we would beat the Germans. They had invaded Europe, conquered Europe. We certainly weren't going to overcome the Germans with a couple of guns and grenades. It's not the same anymore. It's quite unbelievable. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. That they have been bombing us from Lebanon for no reason for 9 months. We suddenly bombed them back and the UN woke up. How dare you bomb them? Hundreds of thousands of bombs have been falling in. We've got 100,000 refugees from the north who aren't living at home. Not a word. This was after President Biden said don't. I don't actually know what don't means, but they certainly don't know what don't means. And after he said don't, they have bombed thousands of bombs. And so we fought back, and now the UN's angry with us. We have God with us, and we have justice with us. That's my first offering on Atem Nitzavim. We are still standing. It is one of the most remarkable things. There is no nation, I challenge anyone to suggest there is no nation in the world who has our history. There was a British Empire, there is no British Empire. There was an American Empire, it is regressing in our lifetimes. There will be an empire after that, and that will disappear too. There was an Ottoman Empire, that went away. There was a Soviet Union, that went away. It is something, like I said a few weeks ago, to pay attention to. And the Klalot have happened, like the Kloisenberger Rebbe said, they have happened. But and we are still here. But not only are we still here, ladies, do you know what decimated means? Decimated means correct. Decimated means that 1/10 of your people has been destroyed. So when Menachem Begin was talking to President Carter about the Holocaust, President Carter mentioned that we had been decimated. And Menachem Begin, I think he made a new word because I haven't ever found the word. He said we weren't decimated, we were tertiated. According to Menachem Begin, tertiated means that 1/3 of our people was destroyed. 1/3 of our people was destroyed. That's in numbers. In leadership, 50% of our people was destroyed. Now you tell me, you've seen pictures of people liberated in 1945? You've seen pictures? You've seen pictures of people looking over their bunk beds and the soldiers coming in? That was the Jewish people in 1945. America was not what it is today. 3 years later, we had a country. Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem. 3 years later, we should have been dead and buried. Atem Nitzavim Hayom. However many Klalot, that Rashi is like reading the newspaper. Turn over the page. Go to Rav Hirsch. Still the same thing. We're going to change the theme in a minute. Atem Nitzavim Yatsav B'nigud La'amad. There are two words for standing. You know Hebrew well enough. You know La'amod is to stand, right? So what's the difference between the word Atem Nitzavim to Atem Omdim? Why does the Torah use the word Atem Nitzavim? Easy enough, right? Have a look at what it says. Einenu rak amida greda. We're not just talking about standing. Elahu mevateh amida eitana. Standing in strength. Standing with your head high. Standing with pride. Amida b'koach u'v'hatmada meleat meretz. Standing means not that you're walking like a never with your head down. Standing nitzavim means you will stand upright, you will stand with pride. The Midrash Tanchuma bi'aru yafet b'chirat ha'bitui hazeh kam b'makom ha'bitui ha'ragil amad. The Midrash explains why does the pasuk say nitzavim? Why are you standing nitzavim and not omdim? After all of the things that happen to you, you're not just standing and falling over and about to faint. You are standing upright. You are standing with pride. And you're standing with purpose and with a straight back. All of the terrible things have happened to you. Nothing has happened to any other people. Does anyone in the world know what genocide means? Do they know? Genocide is lining men, women, and children and taking their clothes off and putting them in a gas chamber and pulling out their teeth and cutting off their hair. It's not fighting terrorists. That's not genocide. That's not genocide. That's defending yourself from animals. That's not genocide, and it's not apartheid. And they can play with words till the cows come up. It's sheker, sheker, sheker. It's not genocide. The Holocaust was genocide. It's the only time in the human race's history that people have made factories to kill human beings. We have never done that. We were the only victims in the Holocaust. We weren't perpetrators, we weren't bystanders. We weren't bystanders like the Americans who flew over Auschwitz, like the British who ignored the reports. We were the victims, the only human race and people who were victims in the Holocaust. And afterwards we can stand up with pride and defend ourselves as people. V'atem tevalu et kulam, says Rav Hirsch, you will outlive all of them. They will not be destroyed. Am Yisrael will not be wiped out. More than that, through the troubles you will grow, you will get stronger. You know, I had such a lesson this year. It's going to be a really interesting and hard Yom Kippur in this room. We're always complaining about the kids, right? The kids this, the kids that. And someone made a comment to me today about youth today. He said, you talk about the youth who fought face to face with Hamas in Gaza, those youth who put their life on the line. My son was in Gaza for 6 months. 6 months. My son's a hero. I will never in my life get close to the achievements of my son. He's 6 months in Gaza. On the front line. He's lived half the years that I've lived and done twice, 3 times, 4 times as much. These are the kids today. I can't say it anymore. It's the kids who won this war. It's the kids who went down on the 7th of October and put their lives on the line. Amidah. Kiyuchem hanitzchi. He's given me such faith in younger people. You know, you complain, everything's a flowers, and then we have young people who do that. It's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable what people have been doing here for the last 6 months, 7 months. Or their wives at home. It's just unbelievable. And it just makes you stronger and stronger. We now have young people who have such strength of character because of the terrible things they've been through. You would agree they're much more mature than people who just go to university and Chol, and the biggest deal is going out for a drink. They haven't got time to go out for a drink, they have to reload their machine gun. They go out for drinks too. But not only have we survived the Yisurim have made us stronger as a people. We're a strong nation. There aren't many prime ministers in the world who can stand the pressure that Netanyahu has been receiving from Biden. Everyone's telling us what to do, but no one's going to look after us because they never ever did. They never looked after us. They never looked after us. We have learned through history, we need siyata dishmaya, and we look after ourselves. There's no one else who's going to look after us. They'll sell us out like they sold out Czechoslovakia. They're not interested. We're not going to fall for that again. We're not going to wait for them again. Eitanim Nitzavim. It's an incredible point by Rav Hirsch. Atem Nitzavim. It's not just you made it through and you're standing up. You're standing up. You're standing up with pride. And that's an incredible message. Different message. Rav Shal Yedidya Mimojis. You're with Jeremy for Shabbos. Jeremy likes singing. Is that an agreed fact? He likes singing a lot. He sings in his sleep. He sings all the time. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, minus 20 in the Ukraine, and Jeremy will start a legal. Seen it, been there, done it. And one of his most favorite people is Rav Shal Yedidya Mimojis. Mojis Rebbe. And he says as follows, Atem Nitzavim. So the first point, Atem Nitzavim, who is still standing today. What's the next point? Adoni Avi Ziknim Mizvalin, Amar Lakud Efes, Amar HaKatuv, Efes Keseo Tir'eh, V'chulo Lo Tir'eh. Hayno Im Mabitim Al Hayachid, Efshar Limsor Chesrono. If you look at an individual, you can always find lackings. You can always critique an individual. There's no such thing as a perfect individual. Follow me through. Now we're not talking about the fact that we are standing. Why are we still standing? You look at an individual and you can critique an individual, but when people come together as a people, as a nation, you can't beat that people. If we come together as one, why are you standing? Kulchem, because you are together. That's why you're standing. You stand today, you survive today. Why? Kulchem, because you are together, because you are as one. You are standing today, because you are one. Remember the Seder night? You remember the Seder night? It's a while away. You know the song V'hisha Amda? A nod just to show me you're still with me. You can go that way or that way. Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu lechalotenu. How do we translate that? Shelo echad bilvad. Not only one person is trying to destroy us. How do Hasidim translate that? Shelo echad bilvad. When we are not one, that is the only thing that can destroy the Jewish people. Shelo echad bilvad. When we are not one, Amad Aleinu Lechalotenu says already in Mojis, when we stand in front of God as a nation, we are unbeatable. I have to tell you, ladies, I am not scared of Iran. I love Iranians. I go to Central and I interview lots of girls from Persia. They're my favorite interviews because I talk to them about their parents coming from Iran, and I ask them if they ever went to Esther Mordechai's kever in Shushan. And I'm not afraid of the Iranians. I'm not afraid of Hamas. I'm not afraid of America, of Russia. I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm afraid of the Jewish people. The only people who can destroy the Jewish people are the Jewish people. We stand here today. If we are one, we stand here today. One means tolerance. It means that we tolerate other people. We don't have to agree. We're not talking about uniformity. Unity means that I accept people for what they are. And if they're chilonim, they're chilonim. And if they believe, they believe. And if they don't, they don't. It's tolerating each other. Atem nitzavim ayom kulchem, when you're together. בעניין וכולם נזכרים בסקירה אחת, וזהו פירוש בעל הטורים, אתם ניצבים כמו בהר סיני. Very interesting. There are two brit. There's a brit at Har Sinai, and the pasuk says what? Vayichan ha'am keneged ha'har. You remember that pasuk? Vayichan ha'am keneged ha'har. Tell me, ladies. Tell me. Yes, Davina. Tell me. What is the problem with the pasuk? Vayichan ha'am keneged ha'har. What's the problem with the pasuk? Vayichan is plural or singular? It's verb. It's singular. If it's plural, it should be vayachanu. What's ha'am? Is ha'am singular or plural? Plural. So how can you write a pasuk vayichan ha'am keneged ha'har? Singular and plural. How can you do that? What does Rashi say? What does Rashi say? Nira, kira, nira, nira, kira, nira, nisu, bisu. What does Rashi say? It's written in the singular because when we stood at Har Sinai, we were one people. So it says, Vayichan, we encamped ka'am echad. So then there's unity before we get the Torah, and now there has to be unity before we go to Israel. Because, as every Bnei Akiva student here knows, there are three pillars. Am Yisrael, Torah Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, right? Am Yisrael is the bottom, that's the pillar. For Torah Yisrael you have to be one, and for Eretz Yisrael you have to be one. Ladies, we say Tachnun every day. Shomer Goy Echad. Shomer Goy Kadosh. You cannot be Kadosh if you are not Echad. If you are selfish, if you care about no one but yourself, you cannot be Kadosh. It's a beautiful comment by the Moshe Rebbe. Why do we survive? What's the key to our survival? Coming together. Onwards. Osnaim the Torah. The Rebbe Nilus. I've got 15 minutes before you start fidgeting and everything more than you are currently fidgeting. Ready? Wasser. Wasserlauf. Vassal, you are full of water, which is fantastic because it keeps everyone alive. So you are going to keep everyone alive. You are Vassal. And if you put yourself together with Abi, the Vassal makes you key. The Vassal makes you key. And if you don't listen, you become like addicts and you turn. But we won't bother with that anymore. We'll end up with a bit of fish and tummy. So, Osnaim the Torah. Dai haya lomar. So the Osnaim the Torah says as follows. I can't do every name. Don't complain that I didn't mention every name. Okay, don't tell. Okay? Dai haya lomar kol Israel v'gecha v'nitzavim nifnei Hashem v'chekamu b'chol makom Hashem b'nei Israel v'naker v'lama ba kol ha'pratim ha'elu. So he says, why do we have all the details? It's also an important point. I tell you something, why? Because you're together. However, why do we list all the different categories? Say kulchem, say everyone is together. Everyone is together. Important point, I have a really, really important here. Yafa, you're going to like this point. You're going to say yafeh. You're going to say yafeh. You're going to whisper to Beefy that it's yafeh. Listen carefully. Really important. V'yesh lomar. אינו דומה איש פשוט המקבל עליו לשמוע לשמוע את כל המוטל עליו כיהודי ללא שבט זקן ושוטר, המקבל עליו לא רק לשמוע את הברית כיהודי, אך גם לשמוע אמונים משפטו הכבורה. People have different roles. We are all together. In that togetherness, we have a different role. Everyone has something to do. You know, I'm going to confess to you. I sometimes wear a gun. I stopped wearing it this week because it did my back in. I started getting very bad back pains. And why? Why? On October the 7th, when things started, people left their homes and went to fight. And I was just sitting at home. I didn't do anything. I said goodbye to my children. I didn't do anything. I made a promise to myself that if God forbid something like that happens again, I will be in my car and driving straight to where it is. Even when I was pulling down my sukkah, people were still under fire. I didn't know. We didn't have all the information, but there were still people who went. And for the first half of the year, I'm telling you, again, personally, I phoned the army every single week. You can check my calls. Every single week I phoned the army. I said, draft me. I just felt so useless. I said, draft me something. I did Taharas at the beginning, and then I said, so put me in the Jebel Kaddish. I did medicals. I filled everything. For the last 6 months, I've been phoning the army, and it's just. And then I asked myself, so maybe you've got a different role. Maybe you should be doing. Everyone's got a different role to play. So you've got to find your role. We stand together, but everyone has a different role to play, and we mustn't try and do roles that aren't ours. That's ego as well, right? You want to fulfill a role that isn't yours. Maybe you want the glory, maybe you just want to feel part of something. But the Nitzavim together, we stand together, but we all have a role. I finished here last week with that. There isn't a person in the room who doesn't have a role. And some of us have more obvious roles, more overt roles, and some has quieter roles, but we all have something to do. We all have something to do. And that's been a big battle for me over the last year. You know, watching your children do much more than you is a big battle. It's really hard to watch your children look after you. You're meant to look after your children. It's not meant to be that way. You've got to find your role. He says, I'm telling you something, so you're all here. You have different roles, people do different things, and that's okay. That's okay. I got to tell you that I saw things in America this year I've never seen in my life. I came to JFK, my favorite place in New York, and the entire check-in area was full of army bags, piled with army bags that American Jews collected for soldiers. I'm sure you know about this. Full kit bags, thick kit bags, as half the length of this, filled up the whole check. They had to check in somewhere else. So the man running up and down. You know, there was a Hasidic Jew, a rich Hasidic Jew at JFK in the first week of the war. He went there with his credit card. And any Israeli soldier who was trying to get back, he swiped his credit card and he bought him a ticket. He must have spent thousands, tens and thousands. Everyone has a role. Everyone can do something. Our job is to find our position. What is my role? But you know as well as I do, if I open up the back of your phone, which I'm very tempted to do on regular occasions, and I pull out a little thread out of your phone, and then I close it, your phone's not going to work. It's not the screen, it's not the battery, a tiny wire. I just pluck it out. Your phone won't work. You need every single wire, you need every single component. And sometimes the battery, you're a big deal in a phone, or the screen, you're a big deal. What's this little wire? I don't know, pull it out, it won't work. The phone won't work. So Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem, we're together, but being together means that everyone has a different role. We all have something else to do. We all have a role to play. And that's very important, to appreciate what you have to do. But I am running out of time, so turn over the page to Reb Chaim Yosef Mipustin. I love this so much. I got so excited. I was doing this Shabbos morning after my tikkun. I was getting really excited, but I couldn't put it in the computer because I keep Shabbos. And then I had to remember the sources, and I wasn't at home for Shabbos. I was very near you actually, but I wasn't at home for Shabbos, so I had to remember all the sources so that when I got home I could I could put them in, and thank God I remembered. So the Totzal Chaim, what does he say? So we said, Atem Nitzavim Hayom is you're still around. That was the first principle. Why? Because you're together. But there's also another reason. Chasidisha. A bit of Chasidus. Where's Liel? Where's Liel? Chasidus. Chasid. You always get to mention Liel because I like Chasidus. As long as I get the right angle. I saw you. I had to. Listen to this. It's so good. I know you're not going out tonight. You're just going to maybe just write this down. Well, how can you eat after this? How can you eat after this? What are you going to do? What is Reb Chaim? See what he says? Atem Nitzavim Hayom. It's Hasidic, but the principle is incredible. What's Atem? Emet. Emet. Atem is the letters of Emet. Ratzalomah she'ikam atzav adam hu ha'emet. You stand if you are true. If you lie, you will always lose. Atem Nitzavim, Emet is Nitzav. If you go by the truth, if you go by real truth and real ideology, you will never falter. The sheker ain't no raglayim. Sheker, that's a Gemara, right? Sheker is just the kuf. It's got one leg of the kuf. Everything else falls over. כמו שאמרו חז"ל, אין לנו אמין לי שאין אלא על אבין שפריים הוא מבחינת יעקב. Yaakov is emet liYaakov. Atem Nitzavim Hayom. Why are you still here today? Why is the Jewish people still here today? Because we're telling the truth. Because we're speaking the truth. Do you know the lies that came out of Joseph Goebbels' mouth? And the lies he used to tell about the Jewish people, the propaganda that went through the German Reich for 10 years, 12 years. And who's here today? Emet will outlive everything. You heard the Jordanian Queen a month after the films came out from Gaza. We made them up. False news. Nothing happened. They filmed it themselves. Sheker will never live. We need the patience, the belief, the direction, and the focus. Atem Nitzavim Hayom, you are standing today. Why? Because you have the truth. I have never felt it, honestly. I have never felt it more than this year. I've been faced with so much sheker. It has just strengthened me. How can it be? The United Nations has been fighting for women's rights since its inception. But when Jewish women are raped, they don't even recognize it. It's just sheker. The British government won't send arms to Israel. It's just sheker. It won't live. It won't last. We have to have the patience and the belief. And then Atem Nitzavim Hayom. It's fantastic. Not just as a nation, ladies, as individuals. Me and you, we have to live by truth. We have to be true people. We don't need to be popular. It will come. The only thing you should be focused on in your life is being a true person. See what my Rosh Hashiva writes? Adam צריך לנהוג בפרהסיה כמו שנוהג בארבע אמות שלו. A person should act in public as he does privately, and act privately as he does publicly. When you daven on your own at home, you should daven as if you're in front of people, not do an act in front of people like you're the Prophet's Chaim. When you're davening at home, you're looking at your phone. This isn't easy. We don't consciously act differently publicly, but we do. We act. The fact that we're in front of people makes us behave differently. Sometimes it's subconscious. Our goal is that God will purify our hearts so we can serve Him in truth. For me, there is no more important word in our dictionary than truth. Personally, I can't relate to people who lie. I just cut ties with people who like. I tell Nitzavim Ayom is a national message. Why are we standing? Because we have truth. It's also for us, ladies. The only way forward for us as individuals is to be true. Not to me, not to God, but to be true to ourselves. We have to be able to look in the mirror, not to comb your hair, not to put on makeup, but to be able to look yourself in the eye and know that you are a true person. We have a lot of work to do with that. But I don't think there can be any higher value for a human being than truth. And so it's not just true of a nation that we stand because we're true and because we hold the truth. If you go enough of Mike's lessons on Thursday night, you'll see that we've done everything according to the way we should have done since 1948 and beforehand. We always accepted other peoples. We never desecrated churches or mosques. You know what they used to do at the Kotel between 1948 and 1967? You know how they honored the Kotel? They used to urinate at the Kotel. That's what they did. And they love Temple Mount so much that they play football there. I've seen them play football there. They play soccer on Temple Mount. We have never desecrated other people's holy places. It's not part of our lexicon. That's our truth. And that's our secret. Our secret is our achdut, our being together, and our truth. But I wanted to finish with this comment by the Kotzker Rebbe, which also comes from our parsha. If you want to know who you really are, the pasuk says, "Hanistarot Hashem Elokeinu v'haniglot lanu." So the Kotzker Rebbe says, if you want to know who you are, it's the things that you do when you're on your own. Hanistarot, the things you do in private, Hashem Elokeinu. That's for God. That's true. Haniglot, you can do it for your children, you do it for other people. That's what we're here to do. We're here to find truth. I'm still looking, but that's what we're here to do. It can be done, and I promise you, and I can promise you that, if you strive for truth and if you search for truth, you will stand. You will always stand. And you'll always stand strong. Because nothing can remove the truth. It takes a long time sometimes. It took Europe a lot of courage and 12 years to get rid of the sheker of Nazi Germany. But it did get rid of it. Totally obliterated it. It took time to get rid of Stalin, but he did disappear. The Emet, everyone still speaks about Moshe Rabbeinu. He'll never disappear. Moshe Emet what's happening. So it's true of the macro and true of the micro. Okay. Does your sheet say you can bring down here? If you can keep them as well, you can keep them.